Hey guys, it's Tekosaur and I'm thrilled to be back with yet another tweaking video. Just like previously when I made a video guide on how to tighten the memory timings on the Aero GLI, this time around we'll be doing it on the Legion Go. This modification in timings will translate substantially to faster memory operations. It's a safe way to suddenly boost performance and it's free. And we all like free, don't we? Now to ensure you complete this process in the least amount of time and avoid complications, make sure to follow along with me as I'll show you some tricks to get it done smoothly. So with that being said, let's get started. Now first thing, we'll need to install the tool to modify the memory timing. So search for Smokeless UMAF and download the tool from the GitHub project. I use the beta version on mine. You are also free to use the official version, but the beta version is stable enough. Next, extract the folder and copy all the contents to a USB drive. You don't need to do anything special, just make sure that the drive is formatted as FAT32. Now since there could be difference between memory scores across regions, I'll show you the memory model my Legion Go has. This way, you will know which memory type you have as well. In the start menu, search for command prompt, run it as administrator and type the following command. As you can see, mine is made by Samsung and this is the part number. If yours are different, the memory timings I'm about to modify may not work entirely or could be unstable. And even if you have the same memory type, results may still vary between units. I just needed to clarify this point. Now with everything prepared, here I have my Legion Go plugged into a power source and connected through a docking station with a USB drive along with a mouse and a keyboard in. So in this way I can navigate through the tool since the Legion Go controllers don't work there, nor the touchpad or the touch screen. As it's booting, press the volume up button to open the options menu. Go to the BIOS setup and here you will find the boot priority. With the USB drive connected, you should see it in the list among the other options here. Use the arrow keys to make it above the Windows Boot Manager. Then go to More Settings. The BIOS version I'm using is the latest as of this date, version N29. Here I want to show you a useful feature that the Legion Go has, which is the BIOS self-healing one. Basically, if the device fails to boot due to incorrect BIOS options, in our case the memory timings, it will try to recover back. This feature would have been great if it were available on the Aero GLI as well, as it would reduce the likelihood of having to remove the battery cable to reset memory timing countless times while trying to find the sweet spot for memory timing. So anyways, make sure to have this feature enabled and set the maximum data clock speed to 7500 MTS. Then go to Security and disable Secure Boot. It's a necessary step to boot to the Smokeless tool. So with that done, save it changes and reboot. And here we are. Right off the bat, you will notice that it's set in portrait orientation. So let's fix it like this. Alright, much better. Now go to Device Manager, AMD CBS, UMC Common Options, LPDDR options, and here you will find all options related to memory. Go to memory timing configuration and you will be greeted by this agreement. It states here basically that any damage caused by modification is not covered by warranty. But don't worry, because our tweaking isn't about increasing voltage or overclocking the CPU. It's totally a safe procedure everyone does on their PCs, whether it's a laptop, desktop, etc. So I think everything should apply on a handheld as well. However, you will still have to make up your mind and accept any consequences at your own risk. In here, you will find active memory timing set at 7500 MTS. You can change the memory speed here as well. But in our case, make sure it's set on 7500 MTS. Go to LPDDR SPD timing. Here you will find all the SPD timings. You can select between auto and manual, where you can dial the value in hexadecimal. To understand the difference between decimal and hexadecimal, there is this tool that you can use to convert values. For example, values you see in Windows Zen timing software are in decimal, while here in BIOS it's set in hexadecimal. So you can use this tool online to do the conversion. And here I have changed mine to the following. Now exit the SPD and go to the non-SPD timing. Here I have them set as the following. Now it's worth mentioning that these timings are extremely tight. It took me over a week to set them up like this. They are at the peak level of a stable system. But with that done, there are also other optional settings you can apply. Go to controller configuration and power options. Here disable power down mode. By default it's disabled, but just to make sure, also set the 5 power disable switch to 1, which means off. Exit that and then go to security and disable both TSME and data scramble, which should reduce in return some memory latency. These aren't necessary for the memory timings, but are just optional changes. Once you are done, press exit and you will be prompted by this message to confirm changes. Press the Y button on the keyboard to say yes, and then go back and press continue for the changes to take effect. Now we put us back to the tool and everything seems okay. But I want to provoke now some instability to show you a trick to spot any issue to avoid having to hard reset BIOS settings. So for example, now if I press continue, it will take me to the boot menu. Let's go back to the tool and alter the timings to make a wrong value, one that will cause instability. Now if I press continue, it will apply and reboot back. As you can see, it may seem like everything is working well, but wait until you press continue. This time, because we have made a wrong memory timing, it will just crash and be stuck on a black screen forever. So let's turn it off and back on. After a few seconds, you will see the BIOS self-healing feature kicking in. It noticed a BIOS corruption and is now attempting to fix it on its own. Good job Lenovo, that's really a killer feature. So once it's done, it got me back online. So now in Smokeless tool, I can go ahead and change the wrong memory timing, save, apply, and this time when I press continue, it just takes me back to the boot menu normally, which indicates it's not crashing. And I found that it's possible to boot back to Windows if you got this kind of response. So I consider it as a first pass for stability. But still it's too early to rule it out as a total stable system, because what may seem working here may not do so at all times. This is why later on we are going to do all the necessary stability tests once we are back to Windows. Now in case you make wrong memory timing and the BIOS self-healing feature didn't work, all you have to do is unplug the battery cable for about 30 seconds and plug it back in. This will reset all memory timings back to default. It's what I call the hard reset. But still it's worth noting that I had to resort to this method only once. The self-healing feature pretty much handled it 99% of time in worst case scenarios as well. It just shows the true power of the BIOS self-healing feature we got aboard. It totally lessened my sorrow and helped me get it done quite faster than anticipated. But now I want to show, for example, if I make a small wrong value, like insufficient to cause a total stability compromise, you can see it crashed. Turn it off, turn it back on, and make sure not to press the volume up button to go to BIOS. Just let it boot back automatically to the Smokeless tool. Revert back the wrong value, save and apply. You can see it's working now. So the difference is that this time, it didn't need the self-healing feature. It just crashed but not corrupting the BIOS. So by now I hope that you got the trick. Basically, never press the volume up button while it's booting. Unless you press continue in the tool, if it takes you to the booting menu, it's a sign that it's stable enough to access BIOS. Otherwise, if it's not stable and you press the volume up button as it's booting, it will just freeze on a dark screen. So now that we are done, go back to the BIOS settings and boot Windows back on top of booting priority and enable back the secure boot. Now I also want to note that if you lose the default settings, it will erase all memory timings back to default, as well as upon any BIOS update or flashing process. So always make sure to note down your modified parameters for any future need. So once you are done, just exit saving changes. And here we are back to Windows and all seems to be stable. Now here are the memory timings I had before versus now. You can download Zen timings for free to see what memory timings you got here as well. The version that currently seems to be working for me is 1.30. So now the time has come to test stability. Download Aida64 Extreme software. It's a trial free for 30 days. Once you are in software, click on stability test and run it for all of CPU, FPU, cache, and system memory. I will say if it passed for 1 hour, that's good enough. So on mine, it passed flawlessly without an issue. But I could never be assured it's stable unless it also passes in this RAM test tool as well. Unfortunately though, this one is paid. So if you feel the need for it, you can just get it. I will personally justify it for myself because it's a lifetime, plus you can always use it on other devices, and what's cool about it is that it can spot errors faster than Aida64. And thankfully it passed fine without an issue. If you want to avoid testing stability with those tools altogether, you can still do so. If it was actually unstable, for example, you will get random low screen of days in games, which also means it's unstable. But those tools exist to save time. But if you made it here, congratulations. So after all the headache, we are now ready to harvest the benefit. To show you what benefits I mean, let's test it out on Aida64 memory benchmarks for all 4 of read, write, copy, and latency. As you can see, for read we got a 500 MB increase, while for write it reached over 1100,000 MB compared to 10,000 MB, so easily a 15,000 point increase here. As for copy, about 2,000 MB increase. Also for latency, we see a minimum decrease. But naturally for us gamers, we would like to see other benchmarks as well. So let's check how things look up for an actual gaming benchmark. So we are going to do a 3D Mark Timespy in its native 1440p, but also we'll run it in custom mode in 800p to see how it runs on lower resolution. But first, let me tell you about the test setup. I'm running at a maximum power 30W TDP and have 4G for dedicated VRAM, and using the latest 780M GPU driver released back in 26th of February. So now let's get to it. So here we are. As you can see, we got a good uplift in CPU score on 800p, about a 200 point increase, and in 1440p, about a 150-ish point increase. So I will say it's a meaningful change. But now what about in actual games? We are going to do a comparison in these 4 titles running at 800p in low settings to get the biggest gap possible and not make it bounded to other hardware components as much as possible. So let's go for it. So as you can see in games like Cyberpunk 2077, we didn't see a change in average or loss, but looking at frame pacing, we see some improvement. Instead, in Borderlands 3, it's a drastic change. We see a higher average by 5 FPS with improved loss too. Also, frame pacing has seen a good uplift. Meanwhile, in Red Dead Redemption 2, we see a higher average by 1. I know it's nothing to brag about, but also loss here has seen a small bump. Looking at frame pacing, it improved here as well. Finally, in Horizon Zero Dawn, we also got a 6 FPS uplift in average and a significant change in loss. Also, frame pacing has improved. So overall, the memory timing tweak for the Legion Go on 7500 MTS speed is a total success. We were able to get this boost while playing it safe. I really hope that this tweak and guide will help you enjoy your Legion Go performance much more. Please let me know if you encounter any issue in the comment section, or additionally you can reach out over at Techosaur Discord server. Also let me know if you were able to get it up and running, and what games you tried, and what kind of performance difference outcome you got. Next, I would be interested to try tweaking memory timings when the memory speed is set as 6400 MTS. Unfortunately though, this process takes a huge toll on me, like finding the right memory timings which are quite tight and stable. But I'll do my best to get it done for you guys as soon as possible and hope to have your support along. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Techosaur for more tweaks for the Legion Go and much more. Love you guys and see you on the next one.